Hello everyone, I'm Lisa Flynn. I've just flown in. And today we are back with more Seduce Me 2, The Demon Wars. Last time, we continued down Sam's path, and we ended up in the demon world. Yay, good times. And by that I mean, no, they weren't. They kinda sucked. So let's get back into it, as I hang out in my very posh room after a day of exploring. Let's see what's on the menu. I remained in my room until the night came, except for when I went exploring. I was given food which looked like soup? Or is it bowling for soup? The woman who gave it to me apologized, letting me know that food was scarce until the upcoming harvest. Understandable. Which was a couple of days away. Being that I was only staying the day, I didn't mind much. I was more concerned over what I was given to eat. Looks fine. It was some sort of stew with mysterious chunks swimming in its broth. Mystery meat? It's probably fine. It's not like they're gonna feed you people. It smelled surprisingly good, but who knew how it tasted? I think I'm gonna go on a diet. I mean, I want to make sure I can stay in my dress. Wedding and all. No. No way, no how. Who knows what the calorie count in this is? I was not in the mood to try out new things after what had been through. And this was not something I wanted to try at all. Yeah, I'm a picky eater, apparently. A knock rapped on my door, breaking me out of my train of thought. Huh? Come in. The door opened to reveal Diana with a plate holding things I recognized. Bread and cheese! Yay! Bland food! I uttered a heavy sigh of relief before Diana laughed.
I suggest not trying that. As good as it smells, the taste would not sit well with you.
Really? I want to try it. Instantly, I moved the bowl to the nearby table, thankful that I did not have to try it. Diana handed me the plate and nodded, reassuring me that what was on it was indeed what it seemed.
It's not much, but it's human food. Eat up.
Thank you. How did you get this, by the way? Did you bring this back with you? I will. Nom nom. I began to chow down, feeling the hunger in my stomach dissipate with each bite and swallow. The food I was eating, surprisingly, was delicious. Why is it surprising? As I began to crave something to drink, Diana chuckled and formed a small goblet in her hand, filled with a clear liquid that I assumed to be water. Boy, was I wrong. It was vodka. We got wasted. I took it and drank it down, feeling my thirst quenched before I let out a sigh. I feel so much better.
I can tell. Take a moment to finish eating, then we'll head for the ritual.
Yay! Ritual! I looked up at Diana, suddenly excited. Everything was prepared for? Was it possible to go home now? Well, that's what seems to be the plot, yes. As if she read my mind, she smiled and nodded.
We finished the main preparations. We just need to head over and we'll start.
Cool, let's go. I couldn't continue eating. My mind went into an obsessive frenzy of wanting to go home. Yeah, wedding, buffet, all the food, let's go. I stood up, moving the plate and goblet to the nearby table. You know, with the stew that I'm not going to eat, even though food's really scarce. Let's go.
Huh? Are you sure?
Yes, go. Home. Let's come. I nodded, not wanting to waste any more time. I needed to get home, and I was tired of waiting. Diana stared before nodding and heading for the door, opening it for me and exiting after me. As she closed the door behind her, I began to feel my heart flutter in relief joy. Yeah, it's been a weird 24 hours. I was heading home. Was I? Diana led me down the corridors to the war room. You'd think she'd have a ritual room, where I had originally arrived, to reveal the table covered in plants and artifacts of different kinds. Yeah, we do nothing by halves here. None of it made sense to me. Yeah, because it's a type of magic you haven't studied. But I had to only assume it was what was needed for the spell to work. Fingers crossed. Diana walked to the table and took note of what she saw, nodding.
This should work.
Woo!
You're in doubt?
Well, I mean, bad things continually seem to happen to me.
Have to be after the last time we tried sending her home. Do we have a human anchor?
Do we? Also, I'd rather not risk their life.
No, you're on your own this time. But we'll make sure you survive casting it.
Ah, orgy time.
The spell should work, however, because we'll be using energy material.
Ah,
It will only require a slice of your energy on top of these items, which your guard can refill immediately after this.
Fun times after I'm gone. Good plan.
Just make sure you don't die casting it.
You know, I believe that's actually you being concerned, Big Red. Diana smiled at her guard before turning to me.
So, are you ready
Yes.
to return home?
Don't need to ask twice. Let's go. She did have to ask. I'm ready. Diana nodded once more before turning back to the table. She lifted her arms over the surface and lowered her head, muttering under her breath.
O tenebris portas, apriat nobis, largiatur exitium,
And
decidium.
other Latin phrases. As she spoke, the table began to glow as she did. A dark purple aura began to surround her form, as she lifted and arched her head back, staring at the ceiling. A glimpse at her eyes made me gasp. Warm golden orbs covered her blood-red irises, glowing with magic. She was deep within the spell, and I could see it slowly draw energy from her body. The items on the table began to gleam wildly, light orbs floating from them and dancing in the air above the table's surface. They began to weave back and forth with each other, almost as if the lights were dancing to a silent tune. I mean, this tune you can't really dance to, though. The other demon stepped back as Diana moved her arms up and pointed to the dancing lights. Aw, she has word spell, dancing lights. Her fingers pointed into the air, leading the lights to follow where it directed obediently. She drew a large circle in the air, and the lights followed like a perfect trail, spreading out and forming a large void in the air. As they finally stopped moving, they burst into bright light, causing the demon's eye to cover our eyes from it. It engulfed the room, but died down just as fast, revealing a small tear in the air. Aww, poor air. Diana quickly leaned forward and dug her hands into it before pulling the tear apart, revealing my bedroom. Wait, you could always do this, Dee? That's creepy. Diana continued to pull the tear open, giving enough space for me to jump through.
Hurry and go through! This is your chance!
Don't have to tell me twice. Go on. I wasn't going to let it go to waste. I gripped the bottom of my dress and rushed forward, using momentum to jump into the air and forward towards the void. It's not a void, it's my bedroom. Clearly we can see what we're jumping into. I could almost reach it. I could feel the air conditioning of my room right at my fingertips. I was
She will never leave this world alive!
extremely disappointed. Ow. The Demon Lord's voice rang through the air just as I saw my fingertips pass through the tear. Wait, did I just lose my nails? What stopped the rest of my body was a red light and force, forcing me and Diana back from the opening. Yeah! I felt my body fly backwards and slam into the wall before I landed on the stone ground. I heard Diana as well land beside me with a painful thud. I looked up and felt my heart break as the tear became wrapped in red lightning, zipping itself closed and vanishing into thin air. No, this could not be.
Damn it!
Agreed!
That should have worked! How could it have failed?
We must have missed something. Was there anything we had forgotten?
The Demon Lord's a dick?
No. I verified everything myself.
Well, you missed something.
Then why was the Demon Lord able to overpower a gate spell?
I highly doubt you know either, brute.
Stop fighting! We need to make a plan and all of you are just being stupid! Stupid, 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 stupid!
Agreed.
Are you alright, Isaiah?
Yeah, how about you be worried about your queen instead of, this measuring contest?
I'm fine. It is...
I was too lost in my mind to fully understand what was going on around me. I was so close. I felt the other side. I had almost made it home. Why couldn't I go home? Diana's grunt of pain next to me made me shoot my head towards her, and I watched her slowly push herself off of the ground and glare at the table.
The demon lord must have done something more than simply bring her here.
Yeah, that does feel as like his MO.
What could he have done?
Well, I mean...
Now, the Demon Lord is incapable of doing anything of the sort. His lackey imps must have done something to her.
Yeah, they are the ones that grabbed me.
A spell?
More than likely.
A curse.
Yeah. Makes sense. I looked to the rabbit woman, seeing her stare wide-eyed at me. The other demons stared at me as well, and suddenly I felt like I was on display. Was something wrong with me? Well, I mean, if you have to ask.
She will not leave the demon world alive. He must have placed some sort of curse on her to prevent her from leaving this plane. In order to leave, she'd have to die.
No. I am not sending a corpse home. What? My mind went blank. Did the Demon Lord really curse me? Yeah, seems like. Was I forced to stay in this world until I died? I could never go back? My guy seemed to want to come back here, so might not be the worst thing ever.
Are you suggesting a barrier curse?
That would explain the red energy that sealed the tear.
But dark magic like that requires...
Yes?
Blood of 1,000 demons. He must have sacrificed part of his army to cast a curse on her that would prevent her from leaving.
Why?
The Demon Lord is that desperate for her.
Again, why?
The only way to break that kind of curse is to kill the caster, the Demon Lord himself.
I'm okay with this.
She's trapped here until this war is over.
Yay? My body began to shiver violently. The Demon Lord killed 1,000 demons just to trap me here? Why? Why? Why indeed? I slammed my fist into the ground and began to scream. I want to go home. Why? Yes, have a temper tantrum. That will clearly help everything. I could feel the sympathy and anger in the room, but I didn't care. I was beyond livid. I was far past broken. I was seeing red. And not the big, tall, horned guy. Ah! As my voice ripped through the air, a bright light erupted through the room once again. Everyone covered their eyes. But Diana quickly scrambled to get on her knees and cover me with her body. No, I'm married. Or I'm going to be married. You're very pretty, but no. She held me tightly as the light invaded the space and slowly began to fade. As the light finally died, everyone moved their hands to see what had happened. In the air was a white tear that was slowly opening, facing downward towards the table. Something was coming. I could feel it in the air. The guard summoned his spear and pointed it at the tear, glaring at it and gritting his teeth.
Something's coming!
Dude, I literally just thought that. In reply, Diana summoned what looked like a saber and placed it in front of us.
Ready yourselves! It could be the Demon Lord!
We'll see. The other demons in the room readied themselves and stared at the tear, either holding a weapon or preparing a spell. I felt the air change, becoming heavier as the tear began to grow. The energy around it began to pulsate, making everyone in the room that much more tense. I stared at the tear as well, frightened as to what was coming through. Was it the Demon Lord? His minions? My mind began to cycle through fearful ideas of what was about to appear. Oh, goddammit. I know those voices. My heart almost stopped. Fallen from the tear and landing on the table were the 5 incubi brothers. They were piled on top of one another, having come through one at a time. However, as the last brother landed, the boys fell to one side, toppling off the table and landing on the floor. The rebels around me stared at the fallen pile of incubi, confused and surprised. Can't blame them. As the tear in the air closed, the ogre man was the first to lower his sword.
What the hell?
Yeah, I feel your confusion, mate.
Who are they?
My entourage.
Careful! They could be the Demon Lord's men!
Well, no. No. The rebels looked at me as I stood up, Diana following and still protecting me, and I stared at the boys on the ground. Still at my feet, huh? They all looked dazed and a bit shell-shocked from having fallen twice in rapid succession. I almost couldn't believe it, and there they were, right in front of me. My mind couldn't help but remember how I'd first met them. Yeah, they got blood all over my floor, bastards. They had all been on the floor of my mansion, see? Unconscious and wounded, and bleeding everywhere. Stuck pigs, really. Now they were in front of me, in the demon world. I know them. I mean, do I really? Hi, guys. I stared at the one I was meant to marry, seeing him slowly shake his head and rise from the ground. They came to rescue me. He came to rescue me. My heart became overjoyed and full of warmth and happiness. I was going to go home. The question was, how? Clearly we killed the Demon Lord. We just covered this. As the sight of the boys kept the demon's attention, a second tear opened above them, causing everyone to look up. 4 women dropped down from the tear and somehow managed to fall into the arms of the incubi behind Sam. She's so freaking cute.
Whoa! Are you okay?
You look too much like his sister.
I gotcha! It's okay!
Eric!
I love Irene's aesthetic.
Love, I've got you!
James!
Aw.
Whoa! Are you alright?
I stared wide-eyed. Their wives came too? You know, they've barely been characters so far. Wouldn't it make more sense for them to remain on the other side and act as anchors? I watched as the boys and girls finally planted themselves on the ground, before looking around. As Sam spotted me, however, his eyes widened both in surprise and anger. I have a feeling anger is his reaction to a lot of things. His gaze pinned itself to Diana, who still stood protectively in front of me, and his eyes instantly became painted over in an almost harsh gold color.
You're fucking dead!
Sweetie, down boy. Within a blink, Sam and Diana vanished and reappeared against the wall behind me. As I turned to see what was happening, Stop fighting! They're fighting over me. I became Quinn Morgendorfer. I gasped at the sight. Sam was pinning Diana to the stone wall, crushing her neck and holding her high enough, too, that her feet were dangling above the floor. Sweetie? No.
I warned you, bitch! I will tear you to shreds!
Maybe dial it back? Sam! Before I could move, however, the guard jabbed the blunt end of a spear into one of Sam's knees, causing Sam to release Diana and buckle to his knees. See, this is why you don't attack the queen in front of her guard.
You mangy dog!
Hey, he is not mangy. He gets a bath every night. The guard quickly twirled his spear around and thrust it forward to skewer Sam, but missed as Sam fell back and laid himself across the ground, glaring up at his attacker. Filled with an almost terrifying rage, the guard stepped forward and went for another stab at Sam. Fortunately, Sam pushed the weapon away from him and directed it to the side, causing the blade to clang against the ground. The guard quickly pulled back and thrust his spear forward again, but hit the floor again as Sam turned his body to the side. My boyfriend's very dexy today. However, the guard wouldn't let Sam get up as he quickly continued to pull back and thrust his spear forward at Sam over and over. That's not phallic imagery at all. Practically trapping him against the ground. Not phallic at all. I wanted to step in, but was too afraid of the blinding speed at which the guard was jamming his spear at Sam. I didn't want to provoke him to stab me in a blind adrenaline rush. Oh, right, you're kind of choking. I looked at Diana, seeing her coughing and holding her neck while gasping for air. Her hand was glowing a soft purple tint, as if she were healing her neck from Sam's attack. That's probably exactly what she's doing. Everyone else, however, had backed up away from the fighting pair, not wanting to become collateral damage from either of their attacks. As Sam got up, the guard retaliated with a lightning-fast response and kicked Sam back down, slamming the bottom of his foot into Sam's face Hey, I like that face, don't do that. However, before the guard could slam his spear down on its target, Sam rolled out of the way and got up on his hands in a spinning handstand. I had never seen him fight like this, even with Malix. But Sam was still undoubtedly trained in combat, even when he didn't have the upper hand. Yeah, that's part of training for it, though. Sam flipped onto his feet and faced off against the guard in a martial arts defense stance, before a sudden barrage of spear thrusts forced Sam to duck, lean, and dodge away from the guard. Unrelenting, the guard thrust his spear as fast as the machine gun shot towards Sam, no longer looking to aim precisely, but hoping to land at least once. At one particularly hard thrust, the guard leaned his body into the attack, but only managed to miss Sam by the merest centimeters. The Sam tilted to the side and let the spear cross over his chest without making contact. I looked to Diana, hoping that she would call off her guard, but she continued to stare at the floor, recuperating from Sam's attack. You know what? If Diana's not going to get involved, I'm not going to get involved. I'm going to let this play out. I didn't want to get involved. Sam and the guard seemed very determined to beat each other. Who knew what would happen if someone stepped in? I held my breath, watching as Sam continued to duck and dodge the barrage of spear thrusts the guard threw at him.
Get out of my way!
Sam finally lunged forward, dodging the guard's spear before slamming his fist into the guard's chest and knocking him back.
Ah! Pesky mongrel!
No, I'm pretty sure he's a purebred. The guard retaliated by swinging his spear around and swiping at Sam, making him jump back.
Enough!
Thank you, Diana. Before the guard could follow through with another attack, a large snap echoed through the air, forcing everyone in the room, including me and Sam, to look over and see Diana glaring at her guard. Diana slowly stood up straight and pointed at the space beside her, ushering the guard to quickly run to it and turn back to face the rest of us. I used the opportunity to step in between Sam and Diana. Dude, calm down. Sam looked to me with eyes full of bloodlust. Hey, not the type of lust I want him looking at me with. Begging me silently to continue the fight. I glared back, trying to break through his rage to get him to calm down. He relented and gritted his teeth before nodding and looking to Diana and her guard.
I'll forgive you for now, brute.
Thank you.
Forgive me! What makes you think that the one who needs forgiving is me?
You kind of attacked her without knowing the situation.
I didn't do anything!
This time.
Then why is she here then?
Your daddy.
Sam!
Thank you, James. Sam and I turned to look at James, who was incredibly furious. By the look of it, the others were as well.
Look at her! Does she look like she's been hung in chains?
Exactly. Sam looked to me as I met his gaze in almost perfect sync. I was indeed fine. Diana didn't hurt me. In fact, it had been the opposite. She wanted to protect me and send me home. The look in Sam's eyes, however, melted into one of longing and relief when he finally absorbed my appearance. Dude, dress, get out! It was like watching a beast instantly calm at the sight of its master. Without giving me a moment to breathe, he rushed over and wrapped me in his arms, bringing his face into my shoulder. Sam? PDA, buddy.
I'm so happy you're safe.
My heart melted as I heard him whisper in my ear. I gripped him tightly, returning the close embrace and thankful that I could feel the one I loved once again in my arms. Sam tightened his grip on me, nuzzling into my shoulder. It's okay that this is a bit too much PDA for me. Everything was okay now. Sam nodded in understanding, and in reply to my words. At last, Sam slowly broke away from each other. Sam looked over to Diana with a softer expression, but nonetheless a serious one.
Why is she here?
See? The right question you should have started with. God damn it, outside world. Diana pressed her lips together. I could see a small frown of hesitation in her eyes. Then she looked at Sam and quickly formulated her answer.
Ask your father.
Exactly. I felt a burst of angry energy flash behind me at her answer, which drew my attention back to Sam. His body became wrapped in dark green aura as his eyes flashed to gold once again.
What did you say?
You heard the lady.
Your father brought her here and placed a curse on her. She can't leave this world until she dies, or...
Go on. Another flash of energy. The aura around Sam pulsated, almost cracking like lightning around his form. Sam gritted his teeth, and I could tell rage was slowly taking over.
I'm gonna kill that old fuck!
And I'm gonna help. Sam! I quickly placed my hands on his shoulders, knowing that he needed to calm down. We had a plan. He didn't need to be angry right now. Yeah, sweetie, channel and focus that rage. Sam looked over at me, calming down slightly at the sight of my worried face. We're going to kill him, Sam. Calm down. The aura around Sam slowly began to dwindle and die out as the golden glow in his eyes faded. I had a small sigh of relief as I felt the muscles in his shoulders relax under my hand. As I looked down, Sam spoke up once again, his voice sounding drained from his sudden rage.
You got a plan to kill him?
Do you?
Yes, we plan to kill him in 1 week's time.
Cool.
1 week?!
Yes, the Bare Naked Lady song. We're gonna play it on loop until he goes insane.
Where is this number coming from, Succubus?
We need to fully prepare ourselves for the final stage, which I'm certain will only take a couple of days. We've pinned him into a corner. The Demon Lord will fall.
That's rather bold to assume.
I mean, is it?
She's right, though. We can prepare everything in that time frame, right?
And if he does the same and attacks us before then?
He won't.
Why not? I watched as Diana walked over and cleared the table of the materials they had gathered for the gate spell, revealing a physical map of the Abyssal Plains. She pointed to a spot on the map, a peninsula surrounded by water labeled as the Decaying Sea. Sounds cheery. Each episode? We're gonna go?
We'll cast a barrier spell along the edge of the peninsula and around the castle. He and his army won't be able to move from that spot until we break it ourselves, which will be during the siege.
No beach episode.
Where would we get the energy needed for that kind of spell?
We won't be using energy.
The other rebel demons in the room suddenly tensed up, staring at Diana in surprise. What was she going to do?
My lady, you're not suggesting...
I think she is.
The Demon Lord has shown how far he is willing to go to win this war. It's only fitting to show the extent we'll go to in response.
True. Unless it's, killing a lot of our own.
As much as I agree with you, this seems a little rash.
What are you guys talking about?
Are they allowed to know?
Yeah, I think so. They're with me, the main character.
I plan to put a barrier curse around the Demon Lord's castle and army. It's temporary, so it won't need the blood of 1,000 demons. But it will need the sacrifice of at least one demon life.
Okay, cool.
And I assume you'll be sacrificing one of my soldiers.
Well, you know what they say when you assume things. You make an ass out of both you and me.
Is this our only option?
Dude, shush, you're not in charge.
There are other options, but they will most likely take a lot of energy to pull off.
It just depends on what we want to do. If we want to do this immediately, then the barrier curse is indeed the best option.
Cool.
I'm not opposed to performing the curse. As rash as it is, it will make our lives easier in the long run.
Yeah, but easy isn't always the right way.
You expect me to hand over one of my men? My soldiers joined the rebellion to kill the Demon Lord, not to get their throats slit before even seeing the final battle?
Dude, she said nothing about it being one of your people. Back off.
It's wrong, but can we really afford to spend any more energy? Diana already spent a lot trying to send the human back.
Emerald, by the way. Hi.
What is the other option?
The rabbit woman and the fairy moved towards the map and pointed at the peninsula.
We could form tall rock walls around the castle. Box him in.
Cool.
It will take a lot of our energy, but we can recover in that week period.
Okay.
And what will stop the Demon Lord from tearing down the walls?
Valid point.
I can imbue the walls with holy magic.
Cool, let's do it. Thinkubai and I looked at him, all of us equally surprised. A demon with holy magic? How? Yeah.
How the fuck did you get holy magic? You look and smell like a demon.
That just might be Diana on him. The guard held up his wrapped hand, letting the beads around it jangle with sudden motion.
I've had the ability to use holy magic ever since I was taken in by my lady's family.
Cool.
There's no doubt that I am a demon, but I can't recall how I gained this
I
ability.
have some doubts. How is holy magic different than demon magic? Tutorial time!
It's white magic. Unlike demon magic, holy magic isn't so finicky. Think of it as warding or dispelling magic. You can't bless air or anything that doesn't have physical form, but you can bless objects to fight back against other forms of magic.
Cool.
If the walls were blessed with holy magic, the Demon Lord wouldn't be able to escape until we released him.
Let's do that then.
Why not just trap him forever?
Because it would have to continuously be activated, and that's a lot of energy.
That's idiotic. He would still be a threat regardless. Holy magic doesn't last forever. And stone will crumble eventually.
He's right. We wouldn't be able to keep the walls up forever.
True. The situation became more and more complicated the more we discussed it. How were we going to go about this?
We can't just sit around and debate this forever. The longer we wait, the more we risk him striking back at us.
Agreed.
But is it worth killing someone to trap him?
Again, it depends who are we killing. Didn't some of these guys, infiltrate this castle? We could just sacrifice one of them.
When we finally strike, we will lose hundreds, if not thousands of soldiers anyway. What difference will it make to lose one more life on top of this?
Are you offering up your life in this case? Because, it might not mean anything to you in the abstract, but when you put it into practice, yeah, I'm pretty sure you're not offering up your throat.
Soulless fuck.
I don't think he's soulless, he's just overly practical.
We can still cage him in.
I bit my lip. It was a really tough decision. A curse or a trap? Which was better? It's about the same action in the end. Both had their prices, but we had to choose one. I mean, do we really? Maybe there's a third option. From the look of it, no one wanted to speak up, so I felt the urge to say something. Maybe I would be the one who would determine everything, because I'm self-important. But which method would be the best choice? Let's trap him. Let's put your holy magic to the test, guard boy. Everyone in the room looked at me, and I finally spoke up. We needed to be better than the Demon Lord. He was willing to sacrifice lives to trap me here, but only showed how desperate he was to win, and how little he valued life. He would lose this war, one way or another. It wasn't worth losing someone who could help turn the tide of the war. When can you put a barrier up?
We can leave after this, meeting is over.
Cool, let's go.
Are you sure this is the best choice?
Well, it's a little too late now. The curse isn't the only option. We need to show that we're better than him. I mean, do we really? Everyone nodded, some in reluctance, while others did with confidence. It'd be nice to know which was which. I looked at Diana just in time to catch a twitch from her visible eye, but she shook her head and looked over to the rabbit woman.
Are you quite positive this will work?
Can we do both? Would both be an option? Because I am not opposed to, doubling down on protection.
I am very certain. Since it will be just 3 of us going, we can shadow travel there and be back by the morning.
Cool. Bye. Diana looked at her guard and nodded.
Very well. If you believe it will work, then I trust you will make sure it does.
Go, little bunny. Be lucky. As the guard nodded and slightly bowed, the other demons seemed to let out a sigh of relief. Were they worried about performing the curse? Diana shook her head before crossing her arms and looking directly at me.
So, since you'll be here for a while,
yep,
we might as well give you names that you can use to refer to everyone here.
Cool. I'ma call you Princess Purple.
Are we getting human names?
You are way too excited about this.
Must we?
Yes. Diana rolled her eyes and gestured at each demon, naming them on the fly.
For the sake of time, we'll use simple names. This is Rabbit, our magic advisor. Sergeant, commander of our armies. Shadow, leader of our assassins. And Faye, our nomadic force ambassador.
Cool.
Sergeant? I'm a commander, succubus. Shouldn't my name be Commander?
Valid point.
It's easier on the tongue, though, to say Sergeant.
Sergeant, Commander. Actually, I think Commander's easier to say.
My lady, what shall they call me?
Diana looked at Sarah for a moment before turning towards me, a look of serious emanating from her eyes.
You may call him Zero.
Hi,
he is my personal guard, and he is always by my side.
Always, you say? The other demons and Saru seemed to be surprised. Was Saru his true demon name? Why would she give me his true name? Because she trusts me.
Are you sure?
Call him only if your life depends on it.
Yes,
Do
ma'am.
not abuse this permission.
Uh-huh. Her eyes seemed to burn as she gazed into mine, full of hard intent and warning. Look, girl, I have my own incubi boy. I don't want your little holy demon whatever. I mentally noted her seriousness as she ran a hand through her hair.
Well, now that we have a plan and introductions are out of the way, I believe we can end this meeting.
Cool.
We have a lot to accomplish in 1 week.
Yes, we do.
What about us? You don't expect us to sit around.
Well, yeah, she hadn't really planned for you being in the war at all.
Actually, I do. You all don't belong on the battlefield.
Now listen.
I will not take untrained and unarmed beings into a war zone.
I can't blame her on that front. Hold on. I interjected, stepping forward and crossing my arms at Diana. She seriously wasn't going to make us stay back while she fought the Demon Lord, was she? Well, it is kind of her arch-villain. That's not fair, Diana. We can fight too. Is this really what we should do? Girl, we can fight too. Diana squinted at me, pressing her lips together into a fine line. However, I meant what I said. We could fight, too.
You expect me to trust that you can fight in a war?
Yes?
Let me and my brothers train then. We're demons, for fuck's sake. We know how to fight.
The boys stared at Diana as she turned her head towards Sam. He was right, though. They knew how to train, so they knew how to fight. Not necessarily the same thing. If they fought with rebellion, there would be a better chance of winning this war.
You all realize this is a war, correct? You can die here.
And?
We understand completely.
Exactly.
We understand too.
Aw, you're so cute. Diana could only stare at our group as we challenged her proclamation. I wrapped my hand around my fiancé's arm, frightened at the idea of participating in a war, but knowing that we needed all the strength we could muster to finish the Demon Lord off. This was the only way that I could go home. Defeated, Diana sighed and rubbed her temples.
Very well. I can't exactly keep you here like prisoners.
Exactly.
So it will be up to you if you choose to train for battle. However, I highly suggest just staying here and allowing us to handle it.
Yeah, but that's no fun. I nodded, as did the others. This was really happening. We were going to kill the Demon Lord in 1 week to either prepare for war or wait it out. Diana turned towards me and looked down at my outfit. I had nearly forgotten that I was in my wedding dress until Diana pointed at my chest.
Lumen infere, bellum tabescere, serene.
What now? I stared at her, unsure of why she was speaking Latin, until I felt the fabric around my body shift and change. I quickly looked down to see my wedding dress morph into an outfit that looked perfect for the demon world. Rage. No. If this is her air quotes dream dress, it probably cost a lot. So, having it suddenly ripped apart and transformed into a completely different outfit, I would be pissed. The white top shifted into a long-sleeved, oversized tunic with a leather corset and vest, while the bottom part of the gown split and wrapped around my legs, forming into dark leggings. My shoes stretched into the long, knee-high boots.
Ooh, interesting outfit.
Thank you. I will say, Diana does have good taste. I blushed, getting used to the feel of the outfit. The corset wasn't tight, but it was still something new, along with the rest of the garb. Sam looked me up and down before glancing away, blushing a bit.
You look good.
Aww. Coming from him, that is high praise. Thanks.
Faye, Rabbit, you both should finish your preparations and head over to the Demon Lord's castle for the spell.
Yeah, bye.
How are you going to get there?
I'll get us there, no problem.
Aw.
Just make sure we don't get stuck there or lost.
Yeah, very valid point, Rabbit.
No promises.
Hey.
Sero, make sure the job is done.
And that they get back.
I shall, my lady.
Bye. Sero, Faye, and Rabbit began to make their way out of the room. As Diana turned to me and my group, they left. Diana let a small sigh.
I will take you to some rooms you may rest in.
Cool. And on that note, we're gonna call this session to a close. Until next, tackling until kiddo.